Lost 3 of the last 4 to K-State. Because you know what K-State doesn't have any in them? They ain't got no quit in them.
No.
So do we still view OU as a playoff contender? Where do we put OU in the Big 12 hierarchy with a Baylor team that had a pretty strong outing? Where are we looking at Oklahoma?
I'll start here. I think Oklahoma still has the opportunity to have all their goals checked off.
Sure.
Ahead of them, right? I mean, there's still an opportunity, but this was a major setback. And I'll say, those dang Wildcats up in Manhattan, the Little Apple, they've got some grit to them, and they've had Oklahoma's number. I played against those guys 5 times.
Yeah.
Played against them 4 at Oklahoma, and then we played them in our bowl game when I was at A&M. I lost to them 3 of the 5.
Ooh.
And every team that I was on was more talented than their teams. And we lost to them 3 out of the lost them 3 out of the 5 times I played them. They are a team that comes in.
Why?
They have a phenomenal culture in Manhattan, dating back to the Snyder days. I think that Chris Kleiman has come in and continued that, which is tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a team that says, hey, we may not be as fast as you. We may not be as talented as you. Our city may not be as pretty as yours. Because Manhattan is not a very pretty place to go. But we're going to show up and we're going to run cover 4 and we're going to spin it down to 3 week, and we're going to go a little man blitz on you, and we're going to show our hand. We do it every single game, but we're going to play longer and harder than you will. And I'm going to line up against you. Even if you kick my butt 10 times in a row, I'm going to get back up for time 11, and I'm truly going to believe that I'm going to beat you. And they just keep coming and coming and coming. And that's what a Kansas State Wildcat is nowadays. That is the culture that they've made there. Now, this game specifically, Adrian Martinez may have had the game of his life.
Woo.
I mean, that kid was all over the place. But give him credit, but you also got to see the other side of it. I think Brent Venables is losing sleep at night being a defensive guy, giving up almost 50% on third down conversions.
Yes.
Some of which went for touchdowns. Letting a guy like this run all over you and not finding a way to stop him, and allowing a team to come to your house and score 41 points and beat you on your own turf. That's tough to swallow.
Coach, I want to get to you, but Trevor, I want to go back to this. Just one more thing. What do you think this transition has been like for the defensive players at Oklahoma? When you have a guy that is trying to hold you accountable in a major way, do you think, what's the response do you think has been like?
I think the response has probably been positive overall. That being said, some things that we really don't talk about much, you've got a guy in Brent Venables that you just expect, hey, this guy's a defensive mastermind. He's been probably the best defensive coordinator in college football for multiple years in a row.
Yeah.
He's going to come in and the defense is going to be better. Well, that's not how it works. Think about him personally. He's not coming in and just calling the defense. He is trying to figure out how to be a head coach, how to switch over on the headset from just calling the defensive plays and switching over and listening to the offensive guys talking Chinese and the things that they do, right?
Yeah.
It is, and managing the game, worried about situations. Coach, you know this better than anybody. You're not just sitting there worried about, your receivers or even your offense. You're worried about it all. And so he can't have as big of an impact, in my opinion, in year one on just that defense. That being said, new system, some guys are going to respond quickly. They're going to pick it up. Other guys aren't. Some of these guys weren't recruited by Brent Venables, so they may not mesh. There are so many different things that I think Oklahoma has working against them with a new defensive coordinator / head coach that we don't talk about enough. And it showed up in this one, unfortunately.
Which is, you teed me up straight for coach. Coach, new guy coming in, a team that everybody expects to be top of the world. How do you think he's feeling?
Not very good right now. Let's be honest with you. I mean, that's a home game. But remember, okay, to Trevor's point, K-State is one of the few teams, regardless of talent level, that cares less about an OU on the side on the helmet than any other team in the country.
Right.
Just it's what it is, right?
That's a great way to put it.
No, I've been a part all the way back to Coach Snyder. So, you go back to that. Remember, where did Bob Stoops coach before that? He was the co-defensive coordinator. Where did Brent Venables play? K-State, right? So the guys in purple and gray don't care. I mean, I with Trevor, and we lost to him in a Big 12 championship game and barely got in the national championship game one year. So, it's been that way for a long time. And nobody knew that more than Bob Stoops. Nobody knew that more than knows that more than Brett, because they played there or coached there. So, it's a tough deal. And now when that happens, it gives the Iowa States of the world who have done it.
Yeah.
Certainly Kansas right now saying, you know what? Guess what?
We got a chance.
Guess we got it. They're certainly Tech's thinking that now, right? It's a different schedule for OU right now than it was maybe, as you said, 3 weeks ago. Even though it's the same teams on paper, mentally there's a different look across that league about Texas and OU.
Agreed. And I'll say this too: when you look at the stat line of this game, you have to give all the credit to Kansas State.
Yes.
Because I don't think Oklahoma necessarily lost this game, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
No.
Their defense needed to make adjustments. If we were to blame anybody, it would be the defense. But you look at the stat line. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, I thought, played phenomenal, had 4 touchdowns. They didn't turn the ball over. Eric Gray averaged over 7 yards a carry, over 100 yards rushing the
Brayden
football.
Willis is going to be a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they made a lot of really good plays. They competed hard. It wasn't like they had, 2 pick sixes or turn the ball over or any like abysmal plays. They just got outlasted and not outcoached. I don't think they got outcoached. I just think they got outlasted against Kansas State's best football in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, they showed up. Kansas State, and that's why I really wanted to get to that, because Kansas State, they show up. They show up, and Kansas State, and I think they fit into this realm with a couple other teams, but Kansas State, they don't lose football games. You have to beat them.
That's a great point.
Yes.
And there's a huge difference between this team lost the game and we beat them. And that's a huge difference. So